So, hello everybody. I would like to welcome you all to this wonderful event, Painting the Zen with Sandra Duran Wilson on AmaWaterways. We have a lot of information to share with you today, and we're really excited that you guys are all here with us. The Zen River was an inspiration to many Impressionist artists, and I'm so excited Sandra is teaching the workshop. She's a perfect choice. She's been inspiring artists all over the world and in many workshops, and probably a lot of you guys already have been in some of her workshops, so you know. I'd like to introduce our special guest, Sandra Duran Wilson. I've known Sandra for many years. Sandra resides in Santa Fe, New Mexico. That's the second largest art market in the United States. She's an internationally recognized artist. Her work is represented in the United States, in Australia, and private collections all over the world. My name is Kathy Reyes, and I'm today's moderator. I'm a travel consultant for Expedia Cruises North Bay. Reservations for this workshop can be booked exclusively through me, and we're going to post all of my information at the end of the presentation. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact me. You'll have my direct phone number, so you're welcome to call anytime. And then if you have questions about the workshop, you can always contact Sandra. So what makes AmaWaterways so special? Ama has some of the highest rated ships in Europe. There's over 320 ships that sail the rivers of Europe. And of the top 10, or top 15, excuse me, Ama had 10 of those in the top.
They're in the top.
They're in the top, yeah, very in the top. And they're very innovative. They're constantly asking their guests all the time, you know, looking for ways to improve what they're doing, you know, accommodations, all of the, you know, they want to know how they can improve on what they're doing. And then the craftsmanship, when you look at the ships and you look at their rooms, you're going to see how exquisite they all are. Unmatched hospitality. Look at the smiling faces on all of those people. They just look so happy to be there. Ama is a family owned and operated, and that reflects back to their exceptional crew members. Ama in Latin means love, and they try to put love into everything that they do. Genuine personalized service by the dedicated crew. They want to make you happy. So if you have any questions, you have any needs, you want anything, they're there to help you, and they'll help you with everything that you need. Knowledgeable and experienced cruise managers. A lot of them grew up in the areas that you'll be in ports at, and they have all kinds of stories and all kinds of information, you know, all of the folklore, and they'll be the ones guiding you on your excursion. So I'm sure you're going to hear some pretty good stories. They have the finest cuisine. It's fresh and it's local, never frozen. Look at, doesn't that look like a work of art?
Yeah, it does.
They have a dedicated wellness house. So you like to get up in the morning and you want to go to do yoga, or you want to run around the ship before your workshop starts, you know, do some stretching up on the deck. That's always available, and get you started, motivated. There's no long crowds. If you've ever been on an ocean cruise, you know how long the waits are sometimes can be to get somewhere. There's no long crowds. This is where you'll start out. This is the reception area, and you'll be greeted by friendly crew members. There's 45 crew members aboard the AmaDante, and the reception area is open 24/7. So if you have any questions, you need anything, help, any concerns, this is the place you would go, and they'll be there to help you. And then we have the cabins. This is a fixed window, and this is the French balcony, and they're pretty big. You can see how big they are. And then this is a suite. And then we have the food. This is all of the dining is included on the river cruise. This is called the chef's table, and you can see the chefs back there preparing the food. And one night, all of you will be guests at the chef's table. And then they do have specialty restaurants throughout. You'll be able to eat in the main restaurants. They have an extensive buffet in the morning, or they have menu items for breakfast and lunch. And then you'll have complimentary red or white wine, beer, soft drinks during your lunch and your dinner. You'll have unlimited wine and for breakfast. And that'll get
You say unlimited wine for breakfast?
Sparkling wine, unlimited sparkling wine for breakfast. So that's going to be a fun workshop for you guys, or a fun tour group. All you have a glass of sparkling wine before you get started. There you go. And this is the sip and sail hour. This is a cocktail hour that they have every day before dinner. And I think this would be a great place for all you guys to get together, have a glass of wine or a glass of beer, whatever, and sit around and just talk about, what you saw during the day. And Sandra can, maybe lead a little lecture, or just you guys can have an art discussion, or, just see what inspires you throughout the day. Then they have tapas, and they have snacks. They have sandwiches and refreshments throughout the main lounge. As I said before, all of the ingredients are fresh and they're locally sourced, and their meals are inspired by the local cuisine. And then if you have like some sort of dietary restriction, if you're like diabetic, or if you're on a keto diet or vegetarian, they can accommodate that as well. All we have to do is know ahead of time, and then they can have that available for you. So this is the itinerary. First, we'll be sailing the Seine to ports like Vernon and Rouen, and artists will participate in exclusive workshops hosted by Sandra. And if you have companions, if you want to bring your spouse, children, friends, they're welcome to come along. And if they decide they don't want to be part of your art group, on your excursions, they can do excursions with the rest of the people on the cruise line. So they don't have to be with you. They can go off and do things on their own. And the journey begins in Paris. So this is where you'll start. This is the AmaDante. And can't you imagine sitting out there on the deck, just sipping a glass of wine, and the beautiful lights of the Eiffel Tower behind you? That's just spectacular.
Mm.
Then we'll travel down to the Vernon. And then you'll see this old mill of Vernon. It was built in the 16th century. Oops, sorry. It was built in the 16th century, and it was constructed on top of an old ancient bridge that spanned the whole of the Seine River. And there was originally 5 of the old mills. This is the last one that's standing. And it became a huge draw for a lot of artists. They came to paint the old mill. And Monet did a painting called Houses on the Old Mill. Isn't that, I just love that. I would love to paint that. And then, of course, this is Monet's garden. He lived here for 43 years. And you can see that they still have the iconic water lilies. There's the Japanese bridge in the back, the weeping willows, the purple wisteria, green bamboo. They're all still here, just waiting for you guys to come and paint them. And this is Rouen. This is like a trip back through time and history with the art and the architecture and the culture. The old market square is, of course, one of the most iconic spots in town and in all of France, actually. This is where Joan of Arc was martyred in 1431. And then you see the Cathedral of Notre Dame. That's sometimes referred to as Rouen Cathedral. it was one of Monet's favorite things to paint. He painted this numerous times. And then you see the old clock, the great clock. That was another landmark that inspired famous artists to come paint. J.M.W. Turner was one of the painters that loved to paint that. In Kodak, and I can't say. This is where the old Boyer tapestry is. It depicts Norman's invasion of England, and where one of the top sites of the Chateau de Caen in the 11th century castle built by William the Conqueror in Honfleur. See my background? This is Honfleur. I love this picture. Look at all of the beautiful colors and all of the inspiration that you can get from this area, the different buildings, the colors of the buildings. Look at I love the reflections in the water. They're just gorgeous. And then historic Normandy Beach. And if you are a historic buff, or if somebody that comes along with you on this cruise is a historic buff, this is a place for them to be. They would just absolutely love being here. They have the Omaha Beach, and this is just a great place. World War II, this is where they had the World War II landings. And then Le Havre. This is where we'll end up in Le Havre. UNESCO inscribed the central city of Le Havre as the World Heritage Site. The Modern Art Museum there is the second in France for the number of Impressionist artists. And then there's a 3-night post extension that's also available. We have 3 nights in Paris pre, and then we have a 3-night post in Saint Malo. So this is Monterre in France. This would be the on your pre program. This is a guided tour, and look at all of the cobblestones. Isn't that great? This is the bohemian heart and soul of the Parisian chic. And this I just love, Altière des Luminaires. This is Paris's workshop of lights, and it's a unique immersion of digital art. They utilize 140 video projectors, and they have the state-of-the-art sound systems. So you're treated by unforgettable, colorful, multimedia exhibition of framed artist work. And they've had, for past exhibitions there, they've celebrated Klimt and Van Gogh. And then it's Sandra.
Okay. Is it me, Kathy?
Yeah, I think I went kind of fast through there.
That's okay. So that is, I saw something pop up in the chat about, is this a painting class? Today is not a painting class. Today is information. So if you were asking about that, we're not painting today. But I want to talk to you about what we are going to do on this cruise. And this picture I'm sharing on this slide is, it's actually a painting I did. It was a commission piece of a very special place. And you can see that I'm mostly an abstract painter. However, when I do paint the landscape, I love to abstract it using color and texture and forms. And so it hints at what is there. And one of the reasons I love to do painting workshops with people when we travel is because when you are in a new place, when you're seeing things with fresh eyes, it wakes up that creative part of yourself. And it just, you just kind of move into something new when you step outside of your comfort zone. And That's what I want to capture, not so much that you have to be an experienced painter. You know, I see a lot of workshops where, you know, you'll see these very experienced and talented plein air oil painters, you know, going about and or sketching and you know what, that's wonderful, but I want to welcome people that don't fit into that category as well. And I love to have a group of creatives that bring together experienced artists and beginners, because when you have a beginner next to you, let's say, you're seeing things through their eyes, through fresh eyes. And it's always an awakening experience that I think can enhance your art. And then as the experienced one, maybe with a beginner, your inspiration for them. So let's see, what's on the next slide, Kathy? Let's see that one.
Yeah, just let me know when you want me to.
Okay. Okay, so this is something, I'll explain a little bit about this. The first image was a really bad photograph because I was in Carlsbad Caverns and I had a new phone and I was getting, you know, used to how my settings were. And so the light in this picture was not very good, but I have an app in my phone to play around with the photographs. It's a free app. We can all use it. It's easy. And so I knew that that photograph, because of the high contrast, would work very well to alter it in that phone app. And so the second picture is how I altered it. And then let's go to the next slide. So then I changed the scale. So I went from that long skinny to a more traditional format. So the things I like to look at when we're painting are, how are you interacting with what you're seeing? So when we go out on these excursions to Monet's gardens, to the different places along the cruise, you're going to be seeing things, and you're going to be not just seeing them with your eyes, but you're going to be feeling all of these other sensations, you know, the temperature, the sights, the sounds, the birds, the grass, all of this is making an impression on you. And I want you to take those impressions and translate that into a visual image that is very different than what you would get when you take a photograph. So this is my way of translating the imagery by incorporating it more with your senses, and whether that's texture, color, scale, you know, maybe you make something in a long skinny shape, or you create a, you know, like that picture of the cathedral, and perhaps you'll make a little tiny painting of it. So the second piece here was a painting I did based on the previous three images. And you can see how it starts to translate. So it goes from where those blues and browns and reds were to, I changed that a bit and I introduced some more colors. So I think you'll get the idea from seeing this progression. And then on this next slide, you see where I took the same idea and I did collage. So this is kind of a little snapshot of how we're going to work with what we're seeing, what we're experiencing, and perhaps even after our excursions, when we meet back on the ship and have our chats, that I will introduce you to some of the maybe different art history, people that came before, where, you know, we're all building on everybody that came before. Nothing is really new. So France is incredible in the artists that have laid the groundwork for contemporary abstract work. And when in Paris, the Pompidou is an excellent museum to see that progression of history. You know, you could go from the Louvre, the d'Orsay, to the Pompidou, and you could see how ancient images progress into contemporary art. And when I was there as an art history student with my friend, I said, let's meet in front of the Mondrian at the Pompidou. And it was like, you know, you just felt like you're living in this magical life. And I haven't been back to Paris since then. So I'm very excited to return. Actually, I'll be in Paris next year doing an art residency, not in Paris, but in the countryside. So to me, it's a very magical place for creative people. And in the cafes, they would gather and not only talk about art, but they would talk about philosophy and what was going on in the world, and literature and poetry. And it's all of those things that come together and really make the creative process come alive. So you see how we might go from taking notes about something to experiencing it, and then starting to put it into a type of imagery. And that's where I come in with how I can guide you into creating using color mixing, composition, textures, how to layer this process. And when we go to the next slide, Kathy. So these are the books that I have written. And the latest one is The Awakening Your Creative Soul. And that book was really based on a decade I spent working in a spiritual counselor at a trauma healing center. And we would do a lot of experiential exercises to tap in to a creative part of your soul. And I think that's what we're going to do on this cruise as well, because we're going to be stepping into some very magical places, and that's going to awaken that part in yourself that you can really tap into that. And with all of these other techniques, if you see, I've done image transfers, I've done alternative surfaces, we're going to bring all of that together in pockets of time, I call it. Let's go to the next slide. Now, the travel book is something I've done. Some of you that have been with me before in Costa Rica and Italy, we've made these books. And I think it's a wonderful way to capture imagery that you find, ephemera. I mean, we can, carve little stamps out of the corks from the wine bottles. You can take the labels off of the wine bottles and put them in there. And I'll show you how to do all of this layering, creating your own travel book. And I've come up with a way to pack materials to where we're really going to streamline it. We're going to be working on watercolor paper. Personally, I prefer hot press watercolor paper. And that's smooth. And if we get like a 9 by 16 inch size, that's small enough, 9 by 12, small enough to where we could carry it with us, and so you could take it along with your brushes or paints or pens. I'll be working in acrylic. That's what my forte is in. But if you have a little set of watercolor, if you want to take while we're out on, in the gardens or something, that's fine too. I'll put together a list of materials. Like I said, it's very streamlined. Should be able to fit it all within a 12 by 12 inch plastic bin. I get them at the craft store. They're about, 3 inches deep, 12 by 12. And we'll have all of our equipment in there. And I can fill you in on how to pack this and how to travel with these materials. And we'll be working on the pages individually and then putting them together, learning how to take a theme through the book and work with colors, textures, and images, and showing you how to bind it. So let's go to the next slide. And here we go. This is what I was just saying, that this particular image is from a photograph that I took in Italy. And I had it printed out, and then I did some stamping and drawing on top of it. So I'll be bringing different papers and images with me that we can use, but perhaps you'll find an image in a magazine or a newspaper as we're traveling, and you could actually incorporate that along with painting and stamps and all these other layers to bring your trip alive. So next slide. So these pages, some of you may recognize some of these. These were from Costa Rica. And my husband did this, and he's not an acrylic painter, but he's been taking workshops with me the last couple of years. And so he started in Italy, and then he did this one in Costa Rica. And he really captured that feeling of the jungle. And there's the one image on the right is kind of cut off, but it's a butterfly. And really, he brought in fabrics and different materials that we found on site. So these are ways that you can bring something alive. It doesn't have to be a realistic painting of something. But if you wanted to paint realistically, that's acceptable too. So my demos are going to be more on technique, how to use the materials, how to layer the things. Whatever else, as we work in these pockets of time, as I called it, because, there's so many other things to be doing on the cruise ship. So we'll be going on excursions, we'll be looking out the window at what's happening. And the area where we will be working, we'll have to pick up our materials and take them back, because I think it's in the dining area, isn't it, Kathy?
Yeah, I think that's what they were saying.
Yeah. So because of that reason, it's not like we have a villa like in Italy where we're spread out. So we have to be a little bit more streamlined. And because of that, I figure we'll probably do, sessions that are maybe 2 hours at a time. And we can do sessions in the morning and the afternoons. All of that will be depending on what our tour schedule is that day. And then we can probably even do something in the afternoon when we come back before dinner, as Kathy had suggested, maybe get together for a talk and share our experiences. So that, for me, the idea is to integrate the experiences we're having, learning new art techniques, but not overwhelming ourselves. Sometimes I see people go on trips and they're like, go, 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 go. And you don't have time to sit and absorb it. So I really want this to be a gentle process of painting and traveling. And that's my idea of it. So I'm not going to be driving you, 6 hours a day like I do in my studio here. It'll be a much gentler learning experience. Is there another slide?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So this is a little bit of an idea. So these are very quick studies that were done using the first one is using some acrylic mediums. The other one is just using very fluid acrylic on watercolor paper. Or actually, this is an ampersand panel, a watercolor board. But both of these effects are something we'll be able to achieve in our books. And just capturing, you can see how just a few strokes and a few colors can capture what you're going to be witnessing. The first image was done starting with a red background, and then I came in with palette knife paint mixed in with some mediums. And again, the other one is just fluid acrylics, which is what I recommend bringing for the trip. And I'll put some links together for those of you who decide to come, what might be useful and streamline the process. Part of streamlining and finding joy and ease in this process is not being overwhelmed by too many choices. So when you limit your color range, and I'll share with you how to get an unlimited range of colors with maybe 6 to 12 colors that you might bring. And then a few brushes, your palette knife, your painting surface, which like I said, like the watercolor blocks. And we can, each bring some gel and a paste. And I think from that, I'll probably bring a bag of, all my papers that I like to put into things. And so, yeah, I think I love painting this way. I love to go into a new place and just absorb it and then kind of let it come out through my fingertips. So I think everybody can do that. Yeah. If Mark can do it, you guys can do it. So I think that's everything I have, right?
Yeah, that was all of your slides.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share this screen. This is what is included in the cost of your cruise. So you have a 7-night. Oops, I keep doing that. I don't know how. You have your beautiful accommodations, and then you have unlimited complimentary wine and beer and soft drinks during lunch and dinner. Regionally inspired cuisine. You're going to have exclusive group excursions. So we're going to plan excursions around your group. If you do bring companions with you and they choose not to participate in your group excursions, and they're welcome to go, and do their own excursions, but we will have exclusive group excursions, and Sandra and I work together on that. And then the sip and sail cocktail hour, you'll have a cocktail welcome and a welcome dinner. And then you'll have unlimited Wi-Fi. So if you wanting to send pictures back to your families, you want to keep in touch with the people back home, let them know what you're doing and how much fun you're having. You're going to have unlimited Wi-Fi and unlimited devices. It doesn't matter how many you bring. And you'll have Wi-Fi in your staterooms, and you'll also have them in the lounge areas as well.
Maybe I'll find out if they have a printer on board. And if they do have a printer on board, then we can do some transfers and do some other things with our
programs. Yeah, I'll find out for you. I'll see.
Okay, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So if you guys book before August 31st, you'll have a $200 savings per person. And space is limited to only 20 artists. So if you guys are really interested in doing this, then this is the time to sign up for it. And then this is my information. And you have Sandra's information. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to call me at any time. This is my number, my email address. So feel free to reach out if you have questions about anything.
So are there some questions in the chat we need to answer?
Yeah,
Okay.
The questions.
Questions.
Yeah, questions. Oh, I did want to touch back on the pre and post. There's some pre and post excursions as well. So before you go out on your cruise, there's a 2-night in Paris and 3 nights after your cruise, and that goes to St. Malo. And I do have information on all of that, and I will send you guys links to this recording, and then links to some of the excursions and stuff, so you can see what all of those are. They're just wonderful excursions that you can add on to your trip.
I watched the two videos. The woman from France did them. Her English is very good, but it helped me to understand how to pronounce some of the words of the towns where we'll be. So I'm going to watch them again so I can practice.
Yeah, I didn't practice enough, I guess.
But they're great. They're great videos, and I'm excited. I want to do the pre and the post. Montmartre. If we're going to Montmartre, I'll tell you guys a hilarious story when we get there about my excursion to Montmartre on the subway.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, so that's great. So do you guys, was there questions?
I think there was some in the chat. Can you see those, Kathy?
I can't see them. Can you see them?
I see them now. Okay, so meals are included, I assume? Yes, they are.
All your meals are included.
Okay. How do we get back to a major airport at the end of the trip?
We'll set up transportation. They'll have from the cruise line to the airports. If you do the pre-cruise, then or the post-cruise, then that's included in that. But if you're not doing the pre or post, then that's going to be an extra cost. Just so you know.
The cost of the cruise isn't, the airfare isn't included. So, right. But Kathy, you can help them with that as well.
We will, yes, we will be able to help you with, if you want to go in a day early and, get a hotel for the night, I can help you with that, and transfers from the airport to the hotel to the cruise ship, yes.
So one of the other questions was, would love to know the pre and post days. I think, and the cost of those, is that included in the videos you're going to put on?
Yeah, the cost, let me see. We start,
and the prices, there should be a link to go to the website that shows the different rooms and what the prices are. And there's an artist price and a non-artist price.
Yes. And then there's also, if you decide to do this with us, there is a registration form I would like everybody to fill out too. There's a link to that on the website as well. And that way I get all of your correct information. But the cruise starts on April 29th. So there's a 2-day before that's in Paris. That is $900 for the 2 nights in Paris per person.
What does that include?
The 2 nights, then you get your hotels and you get all of the excursions. You'll have transportation, to all of the different, and they'll be able to see that when they watch the web,
okay.
I'll send when I send out and then there's a 3-night, and that is $1,720
okay
per person. Yeah.
So I think if we have everything together with links to those videos, to the prices, to how to register.
Yeah.
Can you also please include what if you want to go as a single and have your own room? So
yes, there is a single supplement.
I understand. Can you make sure that's included, please?
Yeah.
With your
I think I saw on the webpage for the cabins that there were a few cabins that were for singles, and the price was on that.
Actually, there's only one left available.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we'll see what we can do about that if you want a solo.
Okay. And if someone had asked about if there was information on the workshop, if I think on my website I have written information on that, and besides just the times and things. And so if you need more particular information on that, please just email me and I can give you something. But it should be on my website about the workshop and what we'll be doing. And I always like to adapt to, we're fine tuning like where we're going to be going. We're definitely doing Monet's Gardens. There's another place I want to go to that is more medieval, and how we might incorporate that, and bringing in some of the ideas from art history. So particulars may happen closer to the event. However, if you want to see my teaching style, I have almost a year's worth of videos on YouTube. So if you go to my website, you can see the YouTube videos. You can watch me. You'll get sick of me. You'll see all this stuff. And you'll know how I teach.
So where is the website we go to for information?
I'll send you a link. I'll send everybody who was here today a link to that, and Sandra a link so she can share that as well. So you'll be able to go directly to there, and it'll, you know, lay out the itinerary and all of that, so you can, you know, the information that you need.
Anybody else?
It sounds fun.
It's gonna be
I'm excited.
It's gonna be so amazing. A river cruise is just unbelievably amazing. And this particular river sort of winds. It's not choppy, or it's not, you know, it just sort of winds or meanders. And it's just a perfect place for you guys to do this workshop, because Paris is just rich in art. You know, it's just rich in art and culture and in architecture, and it's just a wonderful place to be. That's why, you know, I thought this would be a wonderful place for you guys to do this. And Sandra is the perfect person. I mean, she's been doing these workshops for a long time, but her artwork is just, I mean, the way she teaches, I think she's just perfect for this.
How many people are on the ship?
The ship holds 144 people, and there's 73 cabins, and there's 43 or 46 crew members. So you can see what the ratio is between crew members and guests on the cruise. So you'll get very personal attention from the crew members. If you need anything, want anything, you know, they're right there to help you. But it's a small ship. It's very quaint, intimate. You guys will have a great time. You'll be able to move around without having to wait in long lines. And, you know, there's lots of sitting areas for you guys to just sit and relax and talk about the day and watch the landscape go by.
I've had friends that have done river cruises, and they all just loved them. So I've never been on one. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I think it's just perfect. It's just a perfect thing to do. I mean, it's so relaxing just to watch the shoreline go past and all of the beautiful scenery that you're going to see. There's castles, you know, you're going to see castles in some of your excursions. And that to me is, I'd love to see that.
Well, I've had a class from Sandra quite a while ago, and she was great. And this sounds relaxing and fun and informative. And I like your attitude that we're going to see different things, we're not going to kill ourselves, but we're going to learn.
Yeah.
And then what all of this, you can take tons of pictures, and all of this, you can take back then to your studio, and just imagine all of the work you're going to have come out of this. I mean, it's gonna really inform the work that you're doing. I really believe that.
I'm hoping by 23, you know, we'll be doing fine on a small river cruise. So I hope that you will think about it and ask questions and get a hold of Kathy and
if you decide, right, all you have to do is put down your deposit to secure your cabin or your stateroom, and that the price, the special price that goes through the end of this month, and you're all set.
Okay, well, it sounds like you've answered all the questions, and I think we'll just say thank you everybody for attending, and I'll go ahead and end the meeting, and Kathy will send out the email with all the links in it.
Sounds good.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks everybody for attending.
Thank you. Hope to see you all.
all right.
Don't hesitate to call me if you have questions.